Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Praise be to Allah Almighty, the Master of the worlds. Prayers and salutations be upon our Master Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the best of mankind, the seal of prophets. We meet again to talk about Imam Al Bukhari. Now, the memorization of Imam Al Bukhari reached a level beyond imagination. His memory was so strong that he picked up thousands and thousands of hadith. In one statement, he said that I memorized 100,000 Sahih Hadith and 200,000 non-Sahih Hadith. He had that which we call today a photographic memory. He would have to simply just look at something and read it once, and then he would memorize it, and it would stick with him for the rest of his life. While he was studying, his colleagues in Al-Basra, they were writing. The teachers would dictate the hadith, and the students would write the hadiths in their books. However, Imam Al Bukhari, he wasn't writing anything. And 16 days had gone by. Imam Al Bukhari, he's not writing anything in his book. His colleagues, they started wondering that what's going on. However, Imam Al Bukhari, he said to them that, do you think I'm wasting my time? Show me how much you have written. And it came to 15,000 hadiths in them 16 days. And it turned out that Imam Al Bukhari, he had already memorized these hadiths and he knew them by heart. One of the beautiful stories is the test of the ulama of Baghdad. Upon arriving in the city of Baghdad, the ulama, the scholars, they already heard about Imam Al Bukhari, about his supposed great memorization for the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. So they wanted to test him. They wanted to see that what is this Bukhari? Let's see what he is. So they put him under a test in which there was 10 scholars, each presented to him 10 hadiths each. So in total 100 hadiths were brought before Imam Al Bukhari. However, they changed up the isnads, they changed up the chains of narration, they mixed them with different texts so that they are all mixed up and Imam Al Bukhari isn't able to recognize them. So they presented to him the hadiths. The first hadith, Imam Al Bukhari said, I don't know it. Second hadith, Imam Al Bukhari said, I don't know it. Third hadith, fourth hadith, and then with the next person, until each of the 100 hadiths have been presented to him. He said to each and every one of them, I don't know. So the common people around, they thought Imam Al Bukhari, he's ignorant of these hadiths. He doesn't know. However, you cannot trap Imam Al Bukhari. The scholars, they discovered that no, we cannot trap Imam Al Bukhari. Imam Al Bukhari was so clever that he realized and he discovered that the hadiths, they are all mixed up, and that the isnads that they are mentioning to him, they belong to different texts, and the texts, they belong to different chains. So Imam Al Bukhari, he went over to the first person who gave him the first hadith and he corrected him. He first corrected him by mentioning the incorrect version that that scholar gave him, and then he gave him the correct version. Then he did this with the other 9 hadiths, and then the same way, he on the spot, he gave the incorrect version of the hadith that they gave him first, and then the correct version. He did this with each and every single one of them 10 scholars until he corrected all 100 hadiths, all from memory. He memorized on the spot the incorrect versions of the hadith that they gave to him, and then he gave them the correct and actual versions and isnads of them hadith. Imam Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahimahullah ta'ala, he says that it is probably not a big wonder that Imam al-Bukhari, he memorized and he corrected these hadiths, but how he memorized on the spot, in the moment, the incorrect versions and then relayed them back to them scholars, that's an example of the great memory of Al-Imam Al-Bukhari.